Hey, 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 what's happening, my good people? This is Reginald Martin, aka Ku Akaru, and I am here today. So glad to have you guys here with me. So we are going to have the Q and A. So you guys got some good questions about stuff, and usually y'all do, man. I always appreciate y'all's good questions. So we're here and we're going to answer them. And hey, we'll have a little fun along the way because I love having fun. It's just like that to me. That's high vibrational, and that's what I want this interaction with you guys to be is high vibrational because the best and highest, most useful knowledge that you will ever get is going to be the stuff that you get through your joy. Whether you're learning something or you're trying to download something, you're trying to solve problems, whatever it might be, when you are tapped into your joyous, high vibrational self, that higher self, that's where the magic happens, people. That's where the magic happens. So I'm here and I help those who are deconverting from Christianity and basically getting away from the negative religious programming and moving more towards the spiritual and metaphysical side of things. Because in religion, we worship stuff and we did stuff. We did our rituals, like put our hands together by our heads, but we had no reason, no reasoning behind it. So I talk more about the processes and the science of this stuff because it literally helps you create life on your terms and it impacts you in a way that makes living life more joyous for you. Okay, because in religion, think about it, and I talk more. I talk about Christianity because that I grew up with. Okay. That's the religion that I have experienced and I still experience with most people that I interact with. Okay. So I don't, this is not like an academic pursuit for me. Okay. Although I like getting into the academic stuff when I'm, talking about the history of Christianity, where it came from, where the ideas came from. I love researching that stuff and I get deep into it, but it's from the perspective of it's answering questions that I had and I know other people have those same questions, so I'm sharing my research in that way. All right, and that's one of the things I do with my new book. Guys, I break down stuff in that book that you've never seen broken down in the way that I do it before. Part of that reason is because a lot of the information that we get is from a Eurocentric perspective. Okay, and I don't like throw shade or hate because family, it's natural for us to gravitate towards the things that are more relevant to us, more relevant to our history, our background, and stuff like that. So most of the time they stop at Greece, okay, and the Greek gods and stuff like that, and that's where the research stops. So even a lot of the biblical scholars, they'll tell you that there is stuff in the Bible, or nobody knows where the original source of the Bible is, or the original Bible. Nobody's ever seen that, blah, blah, blah. That's because it didn't exist. Okay. So if you stop at Greece, then you're going to stop at the stuff that the Gnostics did. But who taught the Gnostics? Where did they get their knowledge and information? They got their knowledge and information from Egypt and the spiritual system of prehistoric Egypt from Kemet. Okay, called Kemet. Okay, so that's where they got it. Kemet is even a mouthpiece for African spirituality because the ideas that ended up in Kemet didn't start in Kemet. Okay, it started in Central Africa and it spread all over Africa. So these ideas were all over Africa for thousands of years before Christianity ever was thought about. Okay, so that's where a lot of the knowledge and information I share, and I share that from my experience as a black man in America. This knowledge is for everybody and anybody who wants it. Okay, I'm not one of those people to say, hey, this is black people stuff. This no. Christianity has affected billions of people of all races and all backgrounds. Okay. So this knowledge is, and I share it for everybody, that anybody that wants it. Now I know there's some people that look at me and go like, no, I don't want to hear nothing he got to say. Cool. Doesn't bother me. Just go on about your business and learn it from somebody else. But it is what it is. So But at any rate, that's what it bees, and that's what we will do. So we'll talk about it tonight. So guys, y'all got questions? We can talk about it. And I really like to get into how can we get more into this practical into the practical knowledge and how it impacts us in real life every day, you know. So that's what this stuff is about. Okay, I got to put down my spectacles here so I can see what y'all saying on the screen here. But anyway, so what's up, TL Danny? What's happening? What's happening? All right, Betsy, I see you. I see you loving me again. All right. I like saying it because see, I'll be loving me again too. But anyway, so yeah, melanated goddess, a melanin goddess. Hello, boss lady. What's happening, my good people? Good to see all y'all here. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Betsy says this is a genuine question. She says for deconstructing Christian, all I know is church weddings and church funerals. How does the Kemetic community do their weddings and funerals? See, and this is the thing you got to understand, Betty. There is no like Kemetic body, okay, a Kemetic church body or anything like that. This stuff is still relatively new to our people. And people have really only started breaking this down in the last 20 to 30 years. So even coming to this information. So the reason why a lot of times people want to assume that Christianity, that stuff that was in Kemeticism or stuff that was in Christianity was in Kemeticism, is because Christianity came from Kemeticism. Okay. But because a religion formed from Kemeticism does not mean that Kemeticism was a religion, because it wasn't. Okay. So Christianity formed their doctrines and their limited doctrines from Kemeticism, but Kemeticism was not a religion. Okay. It was a spiritual system. It was a spiritual science and metaphysical system. So they didn't even have a word. Well, ancient Kemet. Okay. So ancient Egypt or Kemet, prehistoric Egypt, they didn't even have a word for death, because to them death was not the end. It was not the end of our physical life, because they believed in reincarnation. So when somebody transitioned, okay, from the physical, they called it westing. In other words, like the sun sets in the west, okay, they use the sun as a metaphor for the soul, because the soul is seen as the light that is in each of us, the light of God, the intelligence, the consciousness of God that is in each of us. Okay. So the sun, or Ra, as a lot of them know it, Ra was not a sun god. Ra is the metaphor for the light of God that is circling the earth, and that sun became a metaphor for the light that is within us, the soul. So when the sun set in the west, that just means that it was going into a transitioning into the underworld. It was going under the world. Okay, they call that going into the physical. But even when the body when the person died or transitioned, it was just transitioning. Okay, so it was westing. That's what they called it. So in that sense, there was no funerals, weddings and stuff like that. It's something I haven't studied, because those rituals and stuff like that is not something that really has interested me. Not to say that stuff is not there. Somebody else might be into that. That's just something that never interested me. Okay, so I hope I answered your question there. All right, teacher, what's up, man? I see you. I see you. Teacher's in the house. So he's been with today, and I call teacher it's teacher Tika Kunda, but I call him teacher. So that's what we call him in the family anyway. So all right. Gordon, what's happening, brother? I see you. I see you. Gordon, I always appreciate your support, man. So thank you so much. Gordon, just out of the blue, man, he'll just cash out me something, man, and I'll be like, oh wow, hey, thank you. So Gordon, I appreciate you doing that, man. So thank you very much. I appreciate that when people support me financially, because I do this, and I do this full time, and I create the content so that I can help you guys. But if I had a job that I had to go to all the time, I couldn't create the content that I do. I couldn't do what I do. So Gordon, People like you, I always appreciate you, man. So thank you so much. It is very, very helpful. Okay. Uh, let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see. Loving me again. I see you. I see you. I see you. Uh, and Loving Me Again says, what do you think of the core issues with individuals who speak against a person moving away from Christianity? Fear of no longer having that type of connection with the person. And I think that could be part of it, definitely, because it's fear of the unknown. So for a lot of times, our Christian family, they do want good for us. Okay, they want good things for us. And from their perspective, if we denounce Christianity and we denounce Jesus, then for them, those have dire consequences of going to hell. They don't want that for us. They don't, from their perspective. I know for the most part, our family does not want to even consider the idea that we would burn in hell for eternity. So a lot of times that's their resistance to it. Okay, that's their resistance to us, and that's why they want to try to bring us back into the fold all the time, because they're doing it from their perspective. They're trying to do something good for us. Okay, but they don't understand the knowledge that we've accumulated and that we have to understand what Christianity does to us, and that this idea of hell is a bunch of bull crap. They don't know that. And you have to also recognize, Loving Me Again, for you and me and anybody that is able to step outside of Christianity and start to examine it, that is a monumental leap psychologically to do. Monumental. Because you have to think of all the consequences that you have to think that you're going to overcome. One, just itself, just going to hell for questioning, and two, that you're for no longer believing. All those things play a part. And even though all those consequences are still in front of you when you first start to examine, you go through and do it anyway. People who do that are some of the most courageous people on the planet. Because psychologically, especially if you started, you were into Christianity when you were young, before 7 years old. Because if you are in Christianity and you're raised in it before 7 years of age, and it's in like an authoritarian, very restrictive Christian, excuse me, and a restrictive, authoritative Christianity or denomination, and essentially, especially for African Americans, usually that's what we deal with. We deal with what they call very conservative ideas, because they don't change. Okay, you can't change them. All right, so it can be very restrictive. If you grew up in that from up to age 7, you spend the rest of your life dealing with those things that you had and programmed into you from age 7. And if you start to step away from it, you're dealing with all of the underlying subconscious issues that you've ingested while you're dealing with Christianity. I mean, think about it, even just in dating, family. And ladies, y'all think about this. How much weight is put on you in dating if you cross the line, the Christian line of having sex before marriage? There's a huge double standard, okay? And all of the most dire consequences women face, okay? So just stuff like that, and having to navigate the water of, man, if I kiss him, was that too much, or did I go too far? If he rubs on my butt, was that like too sexual? All of this stuff is like going through your head, and guys having to deal with it. Man, it's a whole nother level, just dealing with just the sexuality of things from a religious perspective. Okay, so all of that stuff you have to deal with. So yeah, but for family, a lot of times they want good for you, but they only know what they've been taught, and they haven't even looked into what you know. Okay, so they definitely want to try to keep you within Christianity. So Kayla, what's up? I see you. What's happening, Chief Scorpion? I see you, my brother. I see you. All right, all right, all right. And let's see. Betsy says, Tika Kunda, is that Zimbabwe name? If yes, yes, that is. He's from Zimbabwe. Aren't you from Zimbabwe? Yes. Teacher. Teacher is from Zimbabwe. So cool. We got two Zimbabweans. All right, all right. So yes, yes, yes. Let's see. And Boss Lady says, what about your loved ones who died believing in Christianity? What does their afterlife look like in terms of eternal life? It's going to be the same for everybody. We all recycle in one sense. But a lot of times what they take with them is in the beginning, the initial crossing over, their consciousness is still tied to what they learned and what they experienced while here on earth. So they might experience or experience the idea of somebody judging them to go to hell or not. Okay, but they experience these ideas, and this is just from studies that I've had. Of course, I've never crossed over, so hopefully that won't be anytime soon. But I guess if it does, it happens. But anyway, uh, but all of us have lived hundreds and thousands of lives. I can bet you everybody that's in this chat right now has lived hundreds and thousands of, or not hundreds and thousands, but thousands of lives, and are here and ushering in, because this point and this time that we are here on planet Earth is one of the most volatile times ever. Okay, and it's volatile because there is a new consciousness that is now moving into and through the earth that is basically going to usher religion or push religion to the side. Okay, many people are waking up, okay, to it. So it becomes, it seems tumultuous to the people who are making the changes, or the people that even want to stay in Christianity. It just seems like everybody's moving away, but it's because religion just does not fit our society anymore. Okay, the belief science in itself disproves so many things within religion. So you can't keep believing these ideas that go against what we know just not to be true. Okay. So a lot of this stuff, the way that they taught us in the Bible, was it was a bunch of bull. So anyway, yeah. So great question. Thank you, sister. Thank you. So boss lady there. So appreciate you. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. G Damien says, a blind man who can never see again and only sees darkness. What does that mean for me? Is it true that Jesus cured a blind man to see again? And keep up the good work, by the way. Love your content. Thank you, G Damien. So the Jesus never existed. So first of all, so no, he did not cure a blind man. So what that means for you, I don't know your journey. So I don't know, what happened, to cause the blind and stuff like that. But it's just part of your life journey. Okay. You can look at it as something negative, because everything that happens to us always have a negative side and a positive side. I don't care what it is. Because even when something negative happens to us, we can find the positive in it. Okay. And usually the people that do that are the ones who rise. Okay. But the idea of Jesus healing a blind man, that was a metaphor, or it was just a symbolic or esoteric meaning. And in this case, blind just meant that somebody that could not see, or somebody that was unaware. Okay. That's what that idea meant. Jesus was the light. Okay, he was the metaphor for the light or consciousness of God that would open your eyes. Okay, so that's one meaning. Okay, so that's what a lot of that stuff, and I break a lot of that down in my book, and y'all got to check out my new book. Deal. check out my new book at crackingthechristcode.com. So I definitely break down that symbolism for you, and I teach you where this symbolism and where these ideas come from. Okay, so it is definitely it definitely behooves you to if you want to know about a lot of these ideas to basically just to check out the book, and I teach you how to uh, break down the ideas esoterically and how to build your case to show that Jesus never existed. This book, nothing like this has ever existed. I can promise you. I haven't ever seen anything like it, and I know that the knowledge that I take and use to break it down is sound, is good. I give you the resources to even fact check me. But check out my book, and you can do that. I will have it in audio soon. So I know my brother, you saying that you can't see right now, but I'll have it in audio. So it's available on Amazon and anywhere in the world right now. So you can get it at Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Kobo Books. In I was told it was in South Africa at something called Take a Lot. I think it was called Take a Lot. But anywhere in the world with major book retailers, the book is there in book form and electronic form. Okay, and I will soon have it in audio form. Okay, so I can serve the people who are visually challenged right now. Okay, so hang on, brother, and I'll be able to get that out to you for sure. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, so all right. But great questions, family. So always appreciate you guys. Uh So yeah, Buddhist stuff definitely is a lot more logical because they've never the Tao was never used like the Bible to like structure our thought processes. Okay, so that's definitely none of the Eastern religions do like Christianity. There's very few. Christianity was the only religion that basically said they had the ultimate truth and nobody else did. There was no that was unusual, and most people did not. Most most religions back then did not do that. Most religions didn't use books, okay, because obviously most of the people at that time couldn't read. They were illiterate, okay. And for a long time in the Catholic Church, which is where every Christian denomination has its roots in Catholicism. But for a long time, the priests were the ones who read the scriptures in the sermon in the services. Nobody else read the Bible. They were read too, and from what I understand, that's even still the way it is mostly in Catholic churches today. The parishioners don't read the Bible. The priest gives them the message from the Bible, and so a lot of the reasons why there even started to be Protestant religions is because what Martin Luther once they translated the Latin Vulgate to where into other languages where people could start reading what the Bible was supposed to say. They saw that a lot of the stuff that the clergy that the Catholic Church was teaching just wasn't true. They were starting to make up their own stuff. Okay. And Martin Luther at the time wanted to reform the Catholic Church. They was like, no, 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 that's a sin. So he's the one who created the Lutheran Church, or the first Protestant church. All right. And then people started to break off from there. But they just saw that what the Catholic priests were teaching, a lot of it just bald faced lies. Okay. Uh, let's see. Nikki P says, "Thank you. I'm going to get it. I live in and from the Caribbean. Hotep. All right, all right. Yeah, the Caribbean, man. I got to get there. I'm going to be taking a cruise to the Caribbean soon, so I got to get there. Got to get there. But all right, love it, love it. Let's see. It is good. It's going to be an eye opener for you. I promise you, and it'll teach you things, and it's going to give you knowledge that is going to last a lifetime. Okay, it will free anybody that has ever felt guilty for and this is and trust me, family, this is such a normal reaction for people who first start to leave Christianity. They literally feel guilty for leaving Jesus. Okay, it is that is such a normal reaction. So So anybody that's feeling those things, this book is going to help usher you through that, because you'll start to understand that you didn't have to believe in Jesus, because you got to understand the ancient teachings. Jesus and Christ were two different concepts. Okay. Christianity, well, actually, I don't know what Christianity did, but we ended up in later times. We made the composite character Jesus the Christ. Okay, and that composite character was what we know today. But I gotta send a little message here. Um, but that composite character actually was two different concepts. So Horus, Yeusa, and Asar or Osiris as the Christ. All right. So yeah, but anyway, uh, let's see. Nikki P says, "Do these pastors?" I can tell you, there's a whole ton of churches in each Caribbean island. A lot of these pastors do know the truth, but you got to understand, Nikki. They know the truth. But think about this: if something was paying your bills, would you want to walk away from it, not knowing what you were going to do next? So I know a lot of these pastors do notice, because I've had them I've had a few come to me and tell me that, man, I don't want to keep teaching this, but I have to, and my church parishioners don't want to hear the truth that I know, because I know some of them have tried to teach it, and they end up losing parishioners because they want to keep believing in Jesus the way that they've been taught it. So it's usually a double-edged sword. So it's not all the time that they are like trying to like keep telling the lie. Some of them do, but a lot of times they want to tell the truth, but they know if they do, is going to upset their parishioners, and they're going to leave their churches, and that ends up affecting their pocketbook, which affects their family, their lifestyle, everything. So it's a lot riding on it. Okay. So I don't necessarily point fingers at Christian ministers because of that, because I understand if I had a job that paid my bills and all of that, I wouldn't necessarily want to walk away from it or give it up either. So I get it, but yeah, so a lot of them do know it. A lot of them do know it. Let's see here. It says, and does the Yoruba tradition differ from ancient Kemetic? So let's see, this variety of music. So Yoruba might even be older than ancient Kemet. Okay, so because their tradition, or their spiritual system started in more in interior Africa. So a lot of the stuff traveled up the Nile River to Kemet, okay, or to where Egypt is now. But a lot of the traditions, a lot of the ideas that are a part of Kemet were in all African spiritual systems. They just had different names. Okay, like for Yoruba, like Kemet, they called them netters or netters, and in Yoruba they called them orishas. Okay, Valdens called it loas. Okay, but they talked about the same concepts, they just had different names. And we do that today in different spiritual systems today. Okay. So we might have different names for the same concepts. But these concepts were African. Okay. Everything that is a part of Christianity was originated in ancient Africa. Okay. Christianity twisted the spiritual ideas into dogmatic religious ideas. Okay. So yeah, Dr. Ray Hagins talks a lot about this. So Dr. Ray is definitely, he's a hero of mine. So he was one of the first ones that I loved how he researched stuff. I so appreciated that. So I definitely pattern a lot of what I do as far as research wise after what he did. Ray Hagins, Phil Valentine, what's dang, I can't, Bobby Hemmett, a lot of these gentlemen. I mean, I that's where I cut my teeth on a lot of this stuff. Okay, but where I take it a little bit further is I understand how to connect the dots to the metaphysical teachings, which is really a lot more powerful for us, and teaching us how to rise above our fears, really, in this life. Okay, so yeah, so Dr. Ray Hagins is Definitely a good brother. Uh, let's see. Yeah, boss lady said she was thinking about the guilt. So yeah, so as boss lady is normal, and a lot of people don't realize how impactful and how Christianity wraps itself around us and all of our lives psychologically. A lot of people just don't realize it. Okay, now I do my best to make people aware of that because it's not just banging on Christianity. That's not my intent. My intent is to help you mentally navigate the transition, okay? Because our mental health and mindset is so important in any area of your life. And if you've been telling yourself that you're rich, that you're a born sinner and stuff like that, what kind of a mindset does that set about yourself? What does that say about you and you trying to achieve things in your life? You know, because if you look in, especially in, and I speak again to my experience having grown up in poor black areas, and I have traveled around the world, and I've seen other areas where black people are, and how much poverty is there, but how strongly so many of them believe in the Bible and Christianity and Jesus. Okay, there's over 400 million Africans worldwide, the African diaspora worldwide, that are in poverty. Okay. There are usually more churches in these communities than there are businesses owned by the people living in the communities. I know growing up in my community, people from outside my community had businesses like the grocery stores and all of that stuff, liquor stores, but the churches were rented, but people outside of the black community usually own the businesses. To me, there's a direct correlation to self-esteem and being an entrepreneur, because I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, you have there is a self-development package attached to your business. Your business is going to grow based on your level of self-development and your level of confidence in yourself. Okay, and if you talk to yourself in negative ways, and on Sunday, I don't know how many in our black churches every Sunday, people are arguing for their limitations. Oh, I just can't do nothing without Jesus, child. Oh, I'm a wretch, but God loves me anyway. In other words, you ain't shit, but God still loves you. I mean, think about what that do. How many of us would tell our children to stand up in the mirror every morning and recite to themselves, "Oh, I'm a born sinner and a wretch"? We would never tell our children to do that because we know how it would do them, what it would do to them. But inadvertently, that's what we're doing when we're accepting these negative programming ideas. Okay. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening a lot of times, and I've seen that correlation, to businesses in the community and how many Bibles and churches are in the community. There's a definite correlation. The more Bibles and churches that you have in a black community, I can guarantee you there's not going to be many businesses in that community. Okay, so yeah, definitely TL. It's mentally abusive. Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I like George Carlin, our chief scorpion. He did make a lot of good points. Uh, let's see. Let's see. And let's see. Yeah, and this is the thing, Chief Scorpion. I know that Dr. Hagens does speak a lot of times against the Jewish faith and stuff like that. I don't agree with that kind of stuff because I mean it's divisive. So while I can admire a lot of the stuff that he has taught and the way that he has taught, I don't agree with everything that he says, and we don't have to, you know. But it's when we start to get divisive like that and start pointing fingers, to me that goes into victimhood. And as you can either be a god in training or you can be a victim. You can't be both because they're two opposite energies. Okay, they're two opposite ways of thinking and being. All right. Yes. Nikki P. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and growing up in my area, Nikki, there was this one street that literally had 5 churches lined up on the same. I mean, right next door to each other, literally. Church, 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 church. Okay, and then if you go around the corner, there was another huge mega church. Okay, all within, I mean, less than a half a mile of each other. From where I lived when I was growing up, I could go either direction, 1 mile in either direction, and pass at least 2 churches. I don't care which direction I went. Okay, that's how many churches was in my area, and the area was a poor area growing up. Okay, but there was small churches, big churches, little storefront churches, churches made out of houses where they turn them into churches. All, I don't care what direction I went, I could go in any direction with 1 mile in any direction and pass at least 2 churches. Okay, incredible in my area. All right, so I know how Christianity impacts people. All right, for real. Iconic man, what's up, my brother? I see you. I see you. Iconic man's in the house. Iconic man's in the house. All right. So yeah. But again, that's where it, to me, it's again, it's not just banging on Christianity. It's just it's getting past this negative programming, because we need, in order to uplift our areas, we need the people in the areas to be able to uplift it. You got to be able to do for yourself. Okay. So everything that is outside of you, and this is just a Kemetic principle, your outside is a reflection of what is within you. And as a collective, our areas and our communities are a reflection of our collective consciousness. Okay, so if our areas are run down and broken down, it's because we believe that we're run down and broken. Broken people do not build. People who believe they're broken. Let me say that. Let me backtrack. People who believe that they're broken do not build. They can't. It's two opposite ideas about yourself. Okay. So you can try to build a business, but this is what ends up happening. Because a lot of times, even as Black people, we feel like we're cursed. Okay. And if you feel like you're cursed, there's no way you can fight God. So when something bad, if you even start to build a business, and the first hump that you have that you've got to try to get over, and you start to asking yourself this question, man, did I do something wrong? Is God punishing me? Is this why I can't have what I want? Blah. It automatically puts you in the opposite state of mind that you need to create what you want. Automatically. Okay. So if you think you've sinned, or you think you've done something to anger God, you automatically set up your own obstruction up here. And when you set up your own obstruction up here, it cannot get out there. Okay? That's just metaphysical science. Everything, think about this. Everything that is on this planet that was created by humankind was first in somebody's mind. Everything. I don't care what it is. So it had to come from the imagination and cross into the physical in some kind of way. Family, there's a science behind that. There's processes behind that. Okay. And that's where I want to take people to, more to helping you understand the processes. So that's why, like, I created my African Mind Rewired class, my African Christianity Before the Ultimate Guide, all these classes and courses I create. I'm helping you bridge from the Christian negative programming to more of the metaphysical ideas. Okay. All right. Let's see. Zell Doja says it's 11/11, says it's his birthday. Well, happy birthday to you, brother. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I can't even sing that song. But anyway, happy birthday to you. Something like that. But anyway, moving right along. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Iconic man. They got spirits all over the place when you got them liquor stores, right? For real, for real. Now, luckily, the area that I lived in, it was dry, so they couldn't put up liquor stores. But if you go across the bridge, and that's what they called it, going across the bridge in the South Dallas, man, there's liquor stores on every freaking a liquor store and a church and a high school. I know there was one area where there was a high school, a very prominent high school, a church, and a liquor store, all of them on different corners at the same intersection. It's crazy. It was crazy. So yeah. So interesting deal. Uh let's see. Uh Wow, that's wild, iconic man. I believe it. I believe it. So he said he had a guy in his church tell me he thought his business was rising too fast and he did not deserve it. And that's a lot of the battle that a lot of us deal with too. Is if we are deserving and worthy of good things to happen in our life. That's that underlying programming that a lot of times it just wraps itself, and you can spend years getting over that. Okay, so that's wild. But I know it's true. I know it's true. So I'm going back up. See, did I miss any questions up here? Did I miss anybody? If y'all asked a question earlier, just ask it again because I don't always see them. Uh, Dr. Malcolm Z. York, yeah, Chief Scorpion, that's another one. I've seen some of his stuff, not a lot of it, but him. There's a lot of them that I've tapped into over the years. So yeah. So yeah, Carlton Pearson says he took a major hit when he told the truth about no hell. Yep, yep. And the craziest thing is, TL, I get more death threats from people when I say that there is no hell. I get more death threats than people who when I say from Christians when I say that there is no Jesus. That's crazy. Literally get people that'll send death or text me, email, not email me, but well, now I've had them email too. Email me death threats and stuff like that. From if I said that there was no hell. More when I say that than when I say there's no Jesus. That's wild. That is wild. Uh let's see. Uh No, and that's true. And Greg Scott. So he says, with so much spiritual propaganda, you wonder why evidence of it ain't manifested yet in our community. Where's the alignment? No, and that's part of the problem. Again, a lot of these ideas that are even biblical, underneath the stuff, the way that we were taught, is esoteric knowledge. A lot of it is really simple by our standards today. You know, but because we simply worship the ideas, we don't learn what it actually meant. But it was actually teaching deep esoteric metaphysical knowledge. Okay, so a lot of that stuff and a lot of it was just very like frameworks. It wasn't even like they were giving you specifics necessarily. Like for instance, the story of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. Okay, that's just a general framework esoterically. Just the dead means somebody again who's unaware, that's just unaware, doesn't have any idea of how they're connected to their higher self. Okay, so the dead is a person that just lacks knowledge of self on one level. All right, a very simple but universal idea. And the light of God, the Son of God, awakened that person. They became like, oh, I get it. And they were awakened from the dead. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Again, just a very simple, universal idea. That's something that happens to all of us. That's what a lot of these stories represent. And I break that down in the book. All those 7 signs or 7 miracles of Jesus. I break down what they mean literally. I mean what they mean esoterically, and then I give you even an up to date idea, an up to date allegory of what it might mean in modern times. Okay. So and understand when I'm breaking these ideas down, guys, that doesn't mean that it is the only meaning, because that's what a lot of people want to do is with these symbols, they want to give it one meaning and that's it. And that's just not how the ancient Africans made their symbolism, because it's the symbolism always was available for your level of knowledge, okay, or for your level of understanding. So a person that say like the eye, using the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus. The more you know about the eye, the deeper you could actually go into metaphysical knowledge, because the eye represented on the physical level, it represented abstract metaphysical concepts. Okay. So all of that stuff. So it's not just one meaning, and too many times people want to try to make it one meaning. Okay. Let's see. And Chief Scorpion says, "What is your opinion of saying the greatest trick the devil's ever pulled was to convince the world that he doesn't exist?" Yeah, that's a religious idea. So again, all the devil meant, if you go back to etymology and you go back to where the origin of the word, we call it the devil or diablos, all those words in the beginning that came from the word st, okay, in ancient Egypt. St is where the ancient Hebrews got the name Satan. So the ancient Africans didn't use they didn't use vowels in a lot of their words, and the reason was because if you were the a lot of the hieroglyphs or the meta neter could be read by different Africans from different areas, okay, because they understood the symbolic language. So they didn't use vowels, because just like in English, in American English, we might say amen, amen. Okay. In British English, they might say amun, amun. Okay. Well, it was the same way with different African tribes. They might have different ways to pronunciate the word or enunciate the word, but it had the same concept. So the word Satan came from the root word st, or set, the netra set, which meant opposition. And if you look up the original meaning etymologically of the word Satan, it meant adversary. Adversary, opposition. Same concept. Okay? Two different ways to look at it. The devil, where it came from, the word diablo. Okay? Because the V and B, etymologically, B and V are interchangeable. All right. So if you know the etymology of these ideas and these words, you can trace the meaning back. So the idea of diablo, which was Greek, meant adversary. Same thing. So the idea of a devil as a entity, or a living entity, had nothing to do with the way that we look at it as something that exists that controls us. There is no Christian that has ever said that they saw an actual devil. They will tell you about things that they see that is representative of the devil, but the devil itself does not exist except up here. Okay, so that's how I feel about that. It's a bunch of BS. I guess that's a short way I could say that. Oh, but yeah, so family, there's all kinds of things you have to, and again, in the book, I helped you build that knowledge, and I help you build it etymologically. I help you build it symbolically with mythology, numerology, astrology, and I help you build a foundation of knowledge that when you get through with this foundation of knowledge, you know Jesus ain't never existed. Okay, so it's just, Christianity changed some stuff. So, but you can couple that with a lot of other stuff that people have taught too, about that question Jesus, question a lot of stuff about Jesus. I mean, even the disciples. Is there one grave site anywhere that one of the disciples supposedly lived? Because they didn't exist either. Okay. There's no grave sites. There's no grave site for Jesus. Okay. No gravesite for Paul. None of the disciples. There's no archaeological evidence anywhere in the world that these people existed historically. None. All these people talking about Jesus traveled to India and all that stuff. They got the missing years between 12 and 30. No, I break that down for you numerologically to help you understand what those two ideas meant. They were two spiritual concepts in ancient Egypt. Okay. Both dealing with the number 3, because you can reduce the number 12 to 3, 1 plus 2. And then 30 is 3 plus 0. Okay. So all of that stuff I break down. They don't. There were no missing years. There were no years that Jesus went off to study somewhere. It's a total fabrication of somebody says, "Oh man, there's nothing between 12 and 30 about Jesus. That means he must have traveled somewhere." No, it just means that the numerologically there were two different concepts that were being expressed that had nothing to do with a historical person. Okay. I break it down. I break it down for it will be forever and consistently Baroque. Woo! Oh man. Let's see. Oh, absolutely, Dark Goddess. What's up, my sister? Absolutely. Christianity has done a job. It has done a job on not only on our people, but it's done a job on a lot of people. Okay. A lot of the isms that we have in the world is because people is Christianity justified slavery, racism, anything. You can find scriptures in the Bible that's justified it. So yeah, it's done a number on the world. So we need to keep it moving. Yes, 2 plus 1 equals 3. Absolutely. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 12 and 30. 3 plus 0 equals 3. Okay. Just as 0 is a higher number. There's rules to the numerology. I break that down. Okay. All of that. All right. So yeah. All right. So let's see here. Yep. You got mummies all over the place, but no grave site. And then this is what they'll sell you. Well, that's because he rose up. There ain't no grave site because he rose up. But wasn't he buried somewhere? Supposedly? Even if he rose up, he rose from the grave. There was supposed to be a grave site. But it's gone. It's non-existent. Oh man, it kills me. Oh, the Shroud of Turin again is complete bullshit. I know. Hey, trust me, Chief Scorpion Moon. That stuff used to fascinate me because I believed that Jesus existed too. God, family, I believed it. I believed it for most of my life that there was a man that walked the earth named Jesus. So the Shroud of Turin, the Ark, Noah's Ark, they said that it rested on Mount Ararat and all this. Man, I used to love to watch those shows because I was like, wow, that's fascinating. But they just making stuff up. There's no archaeological evidence. So yeah. I used to believe all of that stuff, man. So I'm not a person that's like just like coming out of left field and just said that, all of this that all of a sudden one day I just like, no, I don't believe it. No, I was a believer. I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe somebody was going to come and save me. Oh, Jesus, please help me. Oh man, funny. Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, Swaggy P. So the system itself has damaged our people. So I don't. You can maybe you're comfortable with it, but the system itself damages our people. A belief in waiting on a savior or a belief in the world is going to end So you don't even plan for a future. All that kind of stuff damages our people. So I got to disagree with you on that, brother. I can't hold water with you on that one. All right. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Solemn F says, "Do you have any thoughts on the Emerald Tablets of Thought?" So I've looked at those, and what I've seen and what I've read on the Emerald Tablets of Thought, the translation is a definitely from a European. Okay, and I say it because of the mindset. Some of the things that they said that it means, or the way that they translated it, it came from a mindset that was used to war, used to conquering. It's just I didn't like the mindset, and what I know about metaphysics, that the way that it was translated just doesn't hold with metaphysical teachings, and that to me is going to always tell the truth about certain ideas and knowledge, because there are metaphysical laws that are absolute in a sense. Okay, and if you go against those metaphysical laws and you're teaching, like the 42 laws of negative confessions of my eye. Okay, those were translated by what was his name? E. Wallace Budge, E. A. Wallace Budge. Okay, E. A. Wallace Budge was an Egyptologist, and I know a lot of conscious people that will go and repeat and recite the 42 negative confessions of my eye. Okay, and they go and recite them because I can guarantee you that most of them that do that hold those two in high esteem were Christian. Okay, the reason why a Christian would like the 42 negative confessions of my eye is because it sounds a lot like the 10 commandments. They're comfortable with those ideas. But metaphysically speaking, a negative confession the universe does not hear. The universe will reflect back to you what you focus on. And if you say, I am not a thief, or I have not stolen, the universe doesn't hear not, because your focus is on something stolen or stealing something or being a thief. Not, it's not what you're not. So it's always more powerful to state what I am, not what I am not. Okay. So I don't, and one of the reasons why E. A. Wallace Budge was not respected as an Egyptologist, because he did give his translations a Christian twist. He always funneled it through his Christian beliefs. Look him up and look up why he was not respected, and you will see that's what it is. So the 42 negative confessions were done by somebody who was Christian. Anything that was translated in English, guys, you got to understand that was not the original language. So somebody had to translate it. And translations are an art. They are not an exact science. So people are going to use their knowledge and their experience to translate anything. And the 42 negative confessions that we have of the 42 negative confessions of my eye were translated into English by E. A. Wallace Budge, who was a Christian, a devout Christian. Okay. So anyway, yeah. See, who's that? Was you said somebody said somebody came up to save him? No, they ain't never had nobody to save me, so I had to do all that myself. Let's see. Betsy, good questions. While you were a Christian, how much did you love Christian music? Do you miss the music? Some of the music is good. No, I still like gospel music. Okay, I just listen to it with a different ear now. So there are some gospel music that gives me a lot of Kirk Franklin stuff. I like it, man. His stuff is rocking. I like to listen to it. And this is my rule of thumb with this stuff: if it brings you joy, keep doing it. If it brings you down, don't do it. Okay. So if there's certain things that you like that are still a part of Christianity, and it still brings you joy, do it. Hey, if you still like going to church just to listen to the choir, go to church and listen to the choir if it makes you feel good. but it's going to be all that other stuff surrounding it that's going to end up impacting you, on some level. So I'm not like just adversarial towards the stuff. It's the idea of if it impacts you negatively, then that's when you need to leave it alone. Okay. But if it raises your vibration, keep doing what you do, because at the level that you're at, that it might still impact you in a positive way. Keep doing it. Okay. So yeah, I can still listen to gospel music. So some of it, you know. So Fred Hammond, yeah, Fred Hammond, he has some stuff that's pretty good. So just but I'll switch some of the words. If they're singing something to Jesus, I'll switch the word or something. But if it's like Jesus save me, hell no. I ain't no, Jesus ain't saved me. Oh Lord, you was on the cross and I was your bearing your witness. And of course I'm making up my own words, but y'all get what I'm saying. All that stuff, no, I'm not buying into that, you know. But Kirk Franklin be like his what's his, I think his jump, but not jump, it's crisscross. Jump, jump. But anyway, so yeah. So yeah. What's this song? I mean, it's an old song, but it's a good one though. But he be jamming on that song though, man. Man, I could just get that song and I can listen to it and I can jam with it. So but it is what it is. Stomp. There you go. Thank you, Chief Scorpion Moon. Stomp. I'm thinking jump, stomp. Isn't it kind of the same thing? Okay. Yeah. So man, but anyway, is that Christ cross? I like that, AJ. So AJ says, is that Christ cross or crisscross? Jump, jump. Everybody want to be jump, jump. Oh, that's a good one, AJ. Good one, good one. Man. All right. Let's see. Vernon. All right. Vernon's one of my members and supporters. Thank you. Thank you, sis. Shout out from Stockton, California, the 209. What's up? What's up, Vernon? Good to have you. Good to have you. And thank you for your support. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So, yeah. But anyway, family, it's all good. It's all good. All right, family. Well, it's about that time. So we will shut it down tonight. And thank you guys, y'all. Again, as always, y'all have great questions, and I so appreciate you. So appreciate those questions. Y'all make it interesting, and I love doing that. So answering the questions and just man, we all on this journey together. So let's move through it together, man. So, but until next time, y'all have an amazing and wonderful evening, and pick up my book. Get my book. So tell somebody about it and give me some. I need y'all to review it. So if y'all have read it and y'all bought it from Amazon and y'all have read it, go back and give me a review. Give me a 5-star. Come on now. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. But anyway, all right, family. Well, y'all have an amazing day, and until next week, okay? All right. Bye-bye now.